another video. This video, I actually want to walk you guys through some cool features that are actually here from the Grow Plan by the antsle company here. So this is kind of our interface. This antsle has nothing installed on it. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But some of the cool features that you're actually going to enjoy when you start working with your antsle. The first, I want to go over here to your templates, which you don't get this with the Grow Plan. You get this with your antsle in general. So you have the option to download various templates that already exist. So let's say example, we wanted this Windows 10. If you hover over it, it says the Windows 10 template. You can access the Windows GUI via RDP. This template does not include a Windows key. I'm going to go ahead and let's download this one. There's Ubuntu. There's a couple of flavors of Ubuntu here. We'll go ahead and download this Ubuntu LXC right here, 18. We have Debian, we have a Windows 2012, we have a blank KVM, we have Kali Linux, we have a Windows 10 KVM, 16, so the sky is kind of the limit of the things that we can download. And look, here's a Windows 2019 server. So we'll go ahead and download that one as well. But remember, these we don't get keys with, so just remember that when you get it, just make sure that you use your Windows key. If you have an MSDN subscription, I would go ahead and get that subscription because it's going to be fairly cheap. And note, these servers are going to be cheaper, especially on the Windows side, when it comes to building these things compared to if you build in the cloud, because they charge you every month for that license. Alright, so that's under templates here. We're going to go down here to the system section. And we're going to go to networking. So networking, we have some pretty cool examples here. We have certain ports actually enabled. So we can create bridge networks. So we have BR0 bridged right here, but at the back of our antsle, we actually have 4 Ethernet ports. Each one of these Ethernet ports can be specified to a different router or switch that you have. It can be pretty much taken, the sky is the limit, and you can make these static as you want to. So if I enable one of these, I can plug a cable into one of those, and it could be on a completely different switch if I wanted to. You have some network defaults down here, and of course, again, this is for when you're connecting into your Windows boxes. You also have a way to make your system go through a proxy, which is really important when you're trying to isolate things within your network. The next piece that I'm going to show you under systems, which is the coolest thing ever, because I would like you to try to one-click some of these things in like an AWS instance or like a Droplet or a Voltor instance, and that's load balancing. Antsle has made load balancing crazy simple. So I'm not going to walk you through one right now because I don't have any servers on here to show you yet, but we will walk through load balancing some of our web servers as well as some of our database servers. So I'm going to go over here to create. So in the create here, you have the server name. This is your target. This is kind of your URL to access your upstream, okay? And these are your backup addresses only. You can add multiple upstreams. And these are the addresses that you can add to your upstreams, and you can actually assign a weight to each one of these addresses. Guys, I can't stress enough that this is a game changer, especially if you're going to use this system to do like a side hustle and actually create websites and host them on this antsle, because you can. I've been doing things like that on other antsles for years now, since the company has been around, and I have saved so much money that it has outweighed how much the initial antsle probably cost to get started. Because you're not really paying for this hardware, which the hardware is good. You're paying for this interface to make things easier. You're paying for the infrastructure behind it, such as the backing up in the cloud, which you guys are going to see that here in a second. Port forwarding is something else that is, again, they've made this super, super easy. By going over here to create, you can pick your protocol, you can pick your source, your port, and your destination antlet and your destination port. So for example, if you needed something to work similar to something that talked on a specific port internally within these antlets, or if you needed your database to talk but not talk to the outside world. So what you would do here is your source IP would be your, let's say, web server. And your, oh, actually it'd be the other way around. So your database would be your source port, because that's going to be what's housing the thing that you're maybe trying to keep away from the interwebs. So you have your database, for example, here, and you can have whatever port your database is talking on. If it's 1441 for Microsoft SQL, or pretty much whatever you set up. And then you have your destination antlet. This destination could be your web server. And then that web server actually has a destination port, of course. So this is just one example, and me kind of thinking off the cuff of how you can actually use this port forwarding feature outside of your router. So remember, this isn't going to open up your device to the outside world per se. It's going to open up this antlet to the outside world, but it's not going to forward your port to certain antsles within your network. So this, in theory, has taken away the complexity of you having to do all of this configuration inside of your router. So this is very, very, very cool and is needed. When this company first started with this type of interface, most of these things were done under the hood. So you had to SSH into your server, and you had to actually go and work with configuration files. If you're familiar with Linux, you can do it, and it's fine if you know what you're looking for. Remember, this interface is making it where some of these mundane tasks that you have to do over and over and over and over when you start working on a server, they've created it where you have this right in your interface. So we've taken it back to that style of that point and click, which I love the terminal. I can do stuff in the terminal, but point and click helps me get things out there when I need them. Another cool feature, this is only in the Grown plan, just an FYI. We have something called Hill Antlets. So Hill Antlets is servers that you've backed up in the past, and you want to retrieve this information. And I want to note that these things that you see in this list, these are antlets that are not on this server. So with the Grown plan, you can have as many antsles as you want. With the Grown plan, you can bring those antlets back to the state that they were backed up from. So for example, I had one here that I did the 14th. I don't have anything in 2020. I have this one, which I just made that one. Let's see. I'll go ahead and do this one, and I'm going to retrieve this one. So retrieving things from a backup, and again, this is a backup from another antsle. You don't have to be on the same one. What we've done here was go kind of cross system. So again, you could have easily put this on a drive somewhere and saved it, and then mounted the thing somehow within your system and restored the antlet that way. But remember, this is actually restoring with that one click. So that one click that I've done, it's restoring that antlet. So I'm going to go over here to dashboard and see if it's coming up here. So it's not coming up yet. But that's one cool feature, this heel feature. And this is when you go from one antlet to another. Remember, so if you upgrade your antlets or you add another one to your infrastructure and you're just trying to move it to a better resource antsle, this is one way you can do that. Of course, you have your business plan, which that shows what plan that your antsle is registered. But that again is with all antsles. Then you have your console, which is that's kind of cool. You can open up the console straight into your antsle, and then you can log in, and then you can pretty much do commands from there. So you won't have to open up PuTTY and do other things. You can do that straight from your browser, and it's built into the interface. Of course, you have your actions that you do with your antsle, and the actions are also up here in the corner somewhere under settings. So there's multiple ways for you to actually get to this. And another feature is not really talked about a lot, but when you buy an antsle, it's really good to buy the support with it, because you have something called Ant Aid here. And if you enable Ant Aid, let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see it. When you enable Ant Aid, it allows a tunnel open to the support team there at Antsle. And they can remote right into your system and check out any issues that you're currently having. So as you see right here with this one that I'm actually restoring, it's downloading this antlet, and it's going to put it back into the antsle stockpile. So it's going to be there once it's actually downloaded. And if you look at these sizes, these are crazy sizes, and these servers, they did a lot of work. So you have to think about these things are like containers, and the thing that is actually making your site or your system or whatever you're doing actually work, that's all that's being backed up. It's only backing up what's needed. So I think that's kind of it going through this antsle interface. I just want to stress how simple this interface is. So again, if you compare this to a Droplet, you compare this to an AWS or an Azure or a Voltor server, they also have interfaces. But they also charge a lot for servers that you could run those same servers from this antsle. And you can run a lot more. So for example, if each one of these servers, not including the duplicates, we can just see if we got those $5 droplets. This is $5, $10, $15, $20, $25. So this is $25 a month, which is fine. And then add your extra dollar for maybe backups per gigabyte. And then you are in that 25 times 12 range there. If you do that enough, and those are just for these servers, this antsle that I'm on right now, we can put 50 servers on here. So you can kind of do the math of the more virtual servers that you set up, the more expensive that the bottom line is actually going to be. So this is more of that investment kind of determination of, is this actually worth the money? And from what I've seen from the very first beginning, it is worth the money. This company is still new, still learning things, still building on their kind of culture and the things that they actually offer customers. So again, this is for someone that's literally looking to start their hustle. If you are a designer, a programmer, I guarantee this thing right here, this antsle, will make you money. I guarantee it. So again, please like and subscribe to this video. If you see any other videos, I'm going to try to do kind of a stockpile of videos of things that I personally use this antsle for and things that you can actually use this antsle for. You can do anything from media server, you can do game servers, especially since we're running these Windows servers. You can literally throw Steam on it, and then you just pretty much have virtualized server, and some of those game virtual servers are expensive. They're really cheap when it comes to the point of getting them started, but the more users you connect, the more things you connect, the more expensive the servers become. So again, thank you for tuning in to this video, and I will see you later.